Hey guys, welcome to my playthrough of Amnesia The Dark Descent. This is a game I've found myself going back to a lot. It's just really well made, it's held up surprisingly well. It's just one of my favorites personally, even though I don't always dabble in the horror genre. It's definitely worth checking out. I have not yet tried Rebirth, and I have briefly touched the Machine for Pigs, so this is the one I have the most experience with. So this difficulty setting was not in the game when it was first launched. This was added much later on in its life, although I don't know exactly when. Hard mode, you're spotted more easily, resources are harder to come by, autosave is disabled, so you have to manually save, but you lose tinderboxes, and you will die if you lose your sanity. And there is at least one moment where you do lose your sanity, but that's right at the end, so I don't know if they fixed that. So we're just gonna go on normal. The music and sound is so iconic. Almost like Halo and Shadow of the Colossus.
Don't forget, some things mustn't be forgotten. The shadow hunting me. I must hurry.
Hurry!
My name is Daniel. I live in London at Mayfair.
Daniel,
What
London,
have I done?
Mayfair.
This is crazy. Don't forget.
So I do have a little bit of a gripe with this opening scene
Focus.
because of
My name
a
is...
note we get a bit later on, but we'll talk about it when we get there.
I am Daniel.
Yes, you are. Smash, smash, collapse. And now we wake up. The flower petals. Come on, Daniel, wake up. Listen to that ambience. Hey, oh, hey, whoa, whoa. Right to my feet. So here's this mixture. I'm guessing this is the amnesia mixture. But if it is, why did Daniel spill it? Like, was he trying to make a trail back where he came from? It's a nice little quiet room. Nice if you want privacy to write letters and the like. The first tinderbox, as Markiplier called them. Or at least how Markiplier said it. Tinderbox! Oh. So we are currently still under the effects of the amnesia mixture for the veterans of this game. Yes, Daniel, we know you're scared. You're gonna get way more scared as time goes on. Yeah, have a drink. This'll help. Jug, jug, jug. There's a little warm fire. So, I did originally plan to do a fanfiction reading video on Amnesia, where I have a dream that I am in the Dark Descent, and Alsace has been captured by Alexander and is going to be sacrificed as part of his ritual to return to his homeworld. But I ended up scrapping it twice. I think probably because I thought it was really ambitious, because it would be a very long video, even if I split it up into chapters. Oh, memories. So, is that something you guys would be interested in me doing? Doing a Amnesia The Dark Descent fanfiction reading video? Sound effects included, if I can find a video that has them. Because I think it would be a kind of a fun video. But let me know your thoughts. There's nothing except in there except the scare. Nice paintings though. Not gonna bother with it. I know this game relatively well, so I'll mainly be going through the typical route of not backtracking. First door. Berkeley Square, London. Ah, that's where Daniel's from. Mayfair. I might also be quoting Markiplier's playthrough in this. I've watched his playthrough of this multiple times. That was... I think that was the first Let's Play I ever watched. It was either Amnesia the Dark Descent or Slender Man. But it was definitely a Markiplier playthrough. Roaches? Down. These are huge roaches. And they disappear. Light, I'm safe. Now is that the sky? This castle is very weird geometry with some of the lighting that appears. Yeah, don't stand in the dark for too long. Light is safe. Little hurricane. More light. You have to wonder just how big this castle is. Here's our handy dandy lantern. So I do really like what Zero Punctuation says in his video when he's talking about the Dark Descent, when he's giving his initial thoughts. Dum-de-dum, well, this isn't so scary. Oh look, physics, I can throw furniture around like a removal man who's not giving a shit. Door suddenly blows open in the wind, yawn a rama. Well, let's go see what's over here. Well, there's study, so I guess I'll just sit and play Halo Reach for a few minutes. Oh, well, look at... Yeah, I'm sure if you've seen the video, you get the idea. It's extremely hilarious, especially when later on, or at least later on, quote-unquote, and well, I'll go and see what's up here. Well, the path is blocked. Well, I guess I'll turn around and say, hey, where did you come from? Oh, right, I didn't even supposed to be furniture. Oh, pissing blimey, there's jam coming out of the walls. Oh, that's easily my favorite part of that whole thing. If you haven't watched Zero Punctuation review this game, definitely check it out. He's a great reviewer. I have not watched it enough to memorize it word for word.
19th of August,
first
1839.
note.
I wish I could ask how much you remember. I don't know if
So
there'll
would
be
you guys
anything
like
left
me
after I
to
consume this
let the
drink.
notes play all the way through
Don't be
or
afraid,
skip
Daniel.
through them?
I can't tell you
to
why,
save some time.
but know this. I choose to
I'll
forget.
let them play all the way
Try to find
through for
comfort
this
and
first
strength
episode,
in that
but
fact. There
well,
is a purpose. You are my
just let
final
me know what
effort
you would
to
prefer.
put things right. God willing, the name Alexander of Brandenburg still invokes bitter anger in you. If not, this will sound horrible.
The voice acting in this is still
Go to
really
the inner
good.
sanctum, find Alexander, and kill him. His body is old and weak, and yours, young and strong.
Young and
He will be
strong.
no match for you. One last thing. A shadow is following you.
You have to wonder what
It's
it
a
looks like.
living
Like, is it an
nightmare,
actual
breaking
shadow?
down
Is it like
reality.
a
I have
cloud
tried
of darkness or
everything, and
something?
there is
Does it
no
have an
way to
actual
fight
physical
back.
form like an animal? Or
You need to escape it as
we never
long
know.
as you can. Redeem us both, Daniel. Descend into the darkness where Alexander waits and murder him. Your former self, Daniel.
So, something I don't get with that note is that at the beginning, where you hear Daniel talking to himself, he is very clearly saying, don't forget, don't forget. But in this note, he says, I choose to forget. So, what are we supposed to believe? Do you want to forget Daniel or not? Nope. Still yellow. Turkish delights. Constantinople. Great word. Great country. Great people. Or was it great country, great word, great people? I don't know. So where'd that bird go? You clearly heard it flapping.
Alexander, is it inside the castle?
In a manner of speaking. Come, bring the lamp. You've been to the refinery, have you not?
I don't believe I have.
I wonder what Daniel actually
Is it
looks
connected
like.
to the...
The only bit of him you
What
see
did
is
you
his
call it?
hand right here holding the
The
lantern.
inner sanctum.
You don't see
My
his
most
feet,
precious
there are no
chamber,
mirrors in here to
Daniel.
see his reflection.
And it lies well beyond the refinery.
We do see Alexander at the very
In
end.
fact,
But what does Daniel
it
look like?
lies beneath the very stone of Brennenburg.
Brennenburg. Oil. Fill it up. Always gotta keep the lantern topped up. I have not yet gotten the achievement of find all the tinder boxes. I've tried, but I just cannot do it. I'm obviously missing quite a few. Can we escape? Nope. That's the end goal. So we have to go down. It's not like an Anna where you can just leave and be like, oh, we never found out what happened. That would be kind of interesting if we did that. I think this is definitely one of those games people would recommend play by yourself in the dark with headphones, because that's how Josh Strife Hayes played it, and he said it's actually more terrifying that way. I have not yet tried it like that. I don't tend to stay up very late to the point. Well, at least in summer it tends to get pretty dark. It gets dark pretty late, those were the words. I'm sure I can do it in winter when it gets dark early and see how the game how it feels playing it that way. Yes, I hear you, Mr. Grunt.
16th of May, 1839.
Another video I had
The
planned was
unflinching
reading through
African
Daniel's diary
sailors
myself,
continued
trying to put on my
to
best
plague our
Daniel
expedition.
impression. Decided
Even
against it because
possible
that would
to
honestly
dig into
be
the
kind of boring.
How Professor
But,
Herbert managed
you
to
know,
find the
you
location
guys would
of
like me
these
to
vast
attempt
plains
that?
of
Let me know.
nothingness remains a mystery to me. When I asked him about the tomb again, he told me about the legend of
Tin
Tin
Hanan.
Hanan, the mother of us all. An interesting story in its own right, but I can't help feeling there's more.
I wonder how much
Later
of the
that
lore in
evening,
this game is
we
actually
uncovered a
based in
passage
reality.
beneath
Like,
the dunes
is Tin
leading to a
Hanan just something they
sand-covered
made up for
stone
this game?
structure. The professor was confident it was the tomb we sought and ordered the others to clear the way late into the dark, cold night. Tomorrow, I shall lead the men into the ancient structure, hoping to reach the burial chamber. No matter what the professor is keeping from me, the dig should yield something interesting to take back to London and the British Museum.
Oh, if only you knew, Daniel. If only you knew what you're gonna find and what hell it is gonna unleash upon you. Wilhelm's contract. I hereby offer my full attention and services to Alexander, Baron of Brennenburg. This contract will reign for a total of 3 years, when my freedom shall return to me. In addition, Alexander, Baron of Brennenburg, is to recommend my services at the Prussian royal court and within the sanctum of the Order of the Black Eagle. May no man break the seal. Wilhelm, House of Garrick. I think Wilhelm is meant to be German, and you would read that with a German accent. I'm not going to try that. Because if I do, it's gonna sound. I'm gonna end up making it sound Indian or something. I'm not very good with accents. That's a brute, if I'm not mistaken.
17th of May, 1839. My hands tremble as I write. I feel a need to document my tribulation, for I fear that my memory will fail me if I linger. Today, I took some men and ventured into the dark, ancient passage we uncovered. Our torches burned faintly in the murky air as we slowly made our way underground. The men were superstitious and fearful. They argued loudly, and I felt their strange language getting to me.
They're Arabs, right?
I mustered
Sing
my
Arabian
strength
Nights.
and
That'll
yelled
calm
at
them
them
down.
to continue down the slopes and broken steps. The crudely carved passage confused me. It looked much older than the 4th century structure we had expected. The twisting path emerged into a great antechamber. The walls were lined with statues unlike any I'd ever seen. Despite their unearthly quality, I felt a strange familiarity toward them, which haunts me still.
More than the shadow?
At the far end of the chamber, a great slab of stone sealed off whatever lay ahead.
Well, this was
I
before
gave
the shadow
order
started
to
following
raise
him,
it,
so...
and as I pushed through the narrow space, the heavy stone suddenly dropped, sealing me inside.
I was trapped! Yes, you were. Piano? Should have heard a piano by now. Oh, a book fell. There's the piano. I don't know how Grunts and Bruce play a piano. Not get in there yet. This castle must be a nightmare to clean with how big it is. Moosey! It is not a constipated goat, it is a constipated moose. With blood. Oh, Moosey fell and hurt himself. He's crying in pain. Yeah, now you won't be able to sit. Yeah, bless you, Markiplier. I missed this particular tinderbox so much because I had no idea it was there.
Much of the castle is old and hasn't been tended to for centuries. When the shadow arrives, it won't take long until things start falling apart.
We're just buying time anyway. Let's do what we can.
There isn't much to be done about the walls. We should reinforce weak structures. The ground will tremble and there's a risk everything will cave in on us, especially downstairs. Here, and there. Let's get the servants working on it.
The servants that eventually become grunts. Cave in. Where do all these boulders come from, really? And time to pass out.
May 1839. After pounding the unforgiving stone wall for what seemed like an eternity, I realized it was hopeless. I was trapped. I fell to the ground, gasping for air, trying to focus. That's when I saw a faint blue shimmer. My weakened body was heavy to carry, but I managed to push myself toward the enchanting light.
You can look away, but it always pulls your vision back towards it. Shiny.
It was waiting for me. Enclosed in dark nothingness, I felt myself drawn to the mystic light.
This is a mythic orb. It is very shiny. I'm dying from the shiny.
I reached out, closing it in my hands. The faint glow escaped my fingers and began to spark brightly and spirit me away, unlocking alien memories of spiraling towers, endless deserts, and impossible geometry. The next thing I can remember is the grating sound of stone being lifted, the voices of the Arabs pulling me to safety, and grasped firmly in my hands was the broken pieces of a most peculiar relic.
Look at the pretty lights. Prussia. Okay, let's smash the wall because we cannot go through there. Hello, Roach. So you can either throw a rock at this, or you can just fiddle with it with your hand. I like to smash.
You have to be swift when you activate the first one. You hear that? If it stops, you'll have to start over.
Isn't all this a bit excessive?
You can never be too careful, Daniel.
No, you can't. There's our mementos. I have not yet attempted this game with a controller, but I imagine it is a lot more difficult. You actually have quite a lot of time to do this, so you don't really need to rush. Geronimo! So this is one of the biggest notes here, talking about local folklore. Holstein, Brandenburg, 1801. I'm not going to read this one because it'll take several minutes. Gatherers. I think this is also referring to the grunts. Revenants. Vendrate Revenants. Talking about Agrippa, who we will meet much later on. And this is obviously talking about Alexander. So there's a closet here. What they could have done with this, but perhaps even in hard mode, is that door will get broken open as soon as we pick up the key by a grunt, but nothing will come out of it. So perhaps what they could have done on hard mode is have a breakdown and have a grunt walk in, which will give us an incentive to hide in this closet. But they don't, so there's really no point. Regarding closing of the wine cellar, Wilhelm and his foes have endangered my research long enough with their absent-minded handling of the human vessels. The sheriff is keeping a watchful eye on the forest and is killing my trusty servants. It's just a matter of time until they follow my trail to Brandenburg. I need to lock Wilhelm and his men up to avoid further investigation from the public. The wine cellar will therefore be sealed off until the matter has been handled. Either the kings may leave or they will starve. Whatever comes first, they can rot for all I care. Maybe I will feed them some wine. It would in a sense solve both my problems. Key. See? The door gets smashed open, but nothing comes in, even with the dramatic music. So, why would they even have a closet here for you to hide in? Unless it's your first time, in which case you would think something would come. If you're going on that way, you'll see a hallucination of a grunt. Let's go say hello. Yep. So that gives you a glimpse of what the grunt looks like, but you don't really see them properly up close until you basically get captured. I mean, if you wanted to, you could always purposely have them see you so you could see them. Same with the brutes, although... to you too. I was talking, thank you very much. Oh, the piano again. Hope you enjoy not being able to sit. Tin Hanan. And now the jam appears. Jam that hurts. Wine cellar, laboratory. Yes, if you hear the if you hear that crunching noise, that sounds like cockroaches being squished on, that'll happen the longer you stay in the darkness.
Where did the Baron go?
Who cares? He left us enough wine to last us a lifetime! Or at least until tomorrow! They were clearly having a good time. You really didn't need a trail here. We can see that it's sitting right here. Who's there? That's the shadow. Oh, very low. Let's top it up to full. Pick up all the tinder boxes we can, because we're going to need them. So you can actually dodge that, but it'll still play the fainting animation, so you might as well let it hit you. Get some light in here. Yep. So this game uses Lovecraftian horror, where you don't see the scary things, you just hear them, so your imagination tries to picture what it might be. And that's typically how to make things super scary. I have never actually read anything Lovecraft related. Come on. Come on. I don't know if I've seen any movies that involve Lovecraft or are by H.P. Lovecraft. Yep. Squeeze underneath. Who be banging? You be banging? So I think these are meant to be the remains of Wilhelm and his men.
What's happening? Oh, feels like my chest is going to burst. Oh,
It's the chest bursters from Alien!
my God! Wilhelm, do something!
Except it. We're not getting out of here alive.
How can you say that? Alexander, you piece of shit! Let us out of here!
So were they locked in this tiny room with a bunch of wine, or were they actually allowed to wander around the entire wine cellar? Wilhelm's last words. My name is Wilhelm, House of Garrick. These are my final words, my confession and testament. 2 years ago, I was summoned to the Castle Brennenburg. As most of the aristocracy, I think that's meant to say as with, I was curious about what this supposed knight of the order could want from me and accepted the invitation. The Baron was friendly and offered me a proposition. It dawned on me that the nature of the contract was sordid and that the reason I was chosen was because of the follies of my past and not the honors I've been rewarded with during my time as a soldier. I was to kidnap healthy humans upon his slightest whim and do so without asking questions. In return, he would attest to my character at the royal court, advancing my position within noble society. I would like to claim that I struggled with my decision, but it came swiftly and I accepted wholeheartedly. Ever since that day, I've brought men, women, and children to Brennenburg. I can't remember the numbers, but there were many, perhaps even 100, none of whom were ever seen or heard from again. Tonight, the Baron invited me and my men down to the wine cellar to celebrate our work. I had my suspicions as we descended the stairs, but he insisted and joined us in a toast. The wine tasted fine, and my men drank without restraint. So begins the punishment for our sins. The Baron has locked us up and returned upstairs. Forgive me for what I have done. I was weak and fell into his diabolic ways. My men are screaming. Their skin has been pierced by their own tangled bones. I feel my insides revolt against their God-given nature. Blood has begun to pour from my eyes, and I can no longer... Bleh. So we know that Alexander poisoned the wine, but what did he poison it with, is the question. But we're actually out of time for this episode, so I will get back to you guys in the next part.